As a child, I would walk around the city in awe and wonder of these amazing buildings as they cascaded above me. And what I'm going to try and do now is to recapture that wonder with looking up at the buildings from my smartphone. So what I've got is my phone mounted on this little tripod, and I'm using the selfie camera so that I can point up and look at these beautiful buildings, beautiful windows, but just from a slightly different angle. And the little twist here is that I'm also going to try and appear in the image as well. So you see I've got a lot of blank space at the bottom here. That's what I'm going to try and walk through. But first things first, with all architectural photography, the verticals and the horizontals are incredibly important. So I've made sure I'm as aligned as I can be, and using the selfie camera really helps with that. Because we've got a lot of light and shade here, I'm going to turn on HDR, high dynamic range, to capture all of those lights and all of those darks. Because there's quite a big depth of field here, we're going all the way up to the roof of this building and to the ground where people are walking on the pavement. The phone might try and hunt for focus a little bit, so let's stop it from doing that by tapping and holding. There we go. Focus is locked, as is exposure. Now, if I'm going to walk through this frame, what I don't have is a remote shutter, but what I do have in the phone is a timer. So I'm just going to tap on 3 seconds, and then I'm going to try and time my walk through the frame along with that 3 seconds. So I think we're ready. Just going to tap this, walk through, and let's see what happens, shall we? Right, there we go. There's always a bit of trial and error with shots like this, but I can see from the thumbnail that I think I might be in the shot. So that's good, but let's have another couple of goes and just see where it takes us. Let's go on to 5 seconds there. Let's give myself a little bit more time. Now, one thing might be worth checking with your phone is that on this one, in between exposures, anything that I'd locked in terms of focus or exposure gets wiped. So I need to tap and hold again just to make sure that we're in. And again, I'm tapping and holding roughly where I'm going to be walking past. Okay, let's tap that one. I've got a few seconds this time. Here we go. And another thing to be conscious of is how far away you are from the camera. You don't want to be filling the frame, but you also don't want to appear too small in it either. I'm going to have one more go. Because I'm shooting a static image, maybe I can position myself in there so it looks as though I'm walking, but actually I'm kind of taking my chances and just standing there. So 3 seconds, one more go. Let's see what works. Might be cheating, but I think in a static image, no one's going to know the difference. Or will they? Let's take a look. I don't think I got my timing quite right with this image, and my head is peeping out just on the left-hand side there rather than filling the bottom of the frame. Actually, I don't mind it quite so much, in as much as it looks quite quirky with that little head on the side, but I do get to admire the architecture in the main image. My timing was perhaps spot on for this, but the effect isn't really what I was after. I don't know whether I'd staged this shot or not, but this arm is, well, it's incredibly distracting. It looks like I'm reaching for a baton in a relay race, and I think it takes away from the other elements in the image that I really wanted to try and cherish here. So that's not one I'll be sharing. This image I find very interesting. I'm just on the left of frame. My eyes are pretty much on that left-hand third, which is very pleasing. The rest of the image lines up very nicely, but what this combines for me is the accuracy of an architectural picture together with the real-world sense of movement. There's a nice blurring of my arms there as I'm walking across the image, and that creates something that I think brings the best of both worlds and is very real, very shareable.